Most lifters train for years without any real strategy behind how they want to look. They pick exercises they like, follow a program they found online, and just assume the aesthetics will come with time. But building a physique that actually looks athletic and muscular, the kind where people can tell you lift even in a regular t-shirt, requires a more intentional approach. There are 4 key areas that you want to focus on when training for aesthetics: the exercises you choose, the muscle groups you prioritize, the rep ranges you train in, and how you manage your nutrition. Get these 4 things right, and your physique will completely transform. Let's start with exercise selection. If you want to build a proportional, athletic-looking physique, compound movements need to be the foundation of your training. A lot of lifters build their routines around isolation exercises, picking machines for each muscle group, trying to manually piece together a balanced physique. That's what we're told is the bodybuilder approach. But the reality is that it's incredibly inefficient, and it almost always leads to imbalances. Compound lifts hit multiple muscle groups at once and train your body the way it was designed to move. They develop your muscles evenly, and they hit the smaller stabilizer muscles that isolation movements miss entirely. This way, you can build a proportional physique without needing dozens of different exercises or having to micromanage your split. The key is to think about training each major movement pattern instead of thinking about individual muscle groups. Make sure your routine includes a vertical pushing movement like overhead press, a horizontal pushing movement like the bench press, a vertical pulling movement like pull-ups, a horizontal pulling movement like barbell rows, a hip hinge movement like deadlifts, and a squat-style movement like barbell back squats. That's just 6 exercises that make up the core of your training, and that alone creates a rock-solid foundation for a well-rounded physique. For each workout, you'll want to front-load your compound lifts and save your isolation work for after all the compounds for that workout are done. Pick your isolation movements to target specific areas you want to bring up or take smaller muscle groups close to failure. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When it comes to aesthetics, some muscle groups punch way above their weight. So if you're training for aesthetics and you want to actually look like you lift, there are 4 muscle groups that deserve extra attention. First up, shoulders. Round, capped shoulders are the foundation of an athletic physique. They're what create that V-taper, wide up top, narrow at the waist, and they're the first thing people notice, even under a t-shirt. Second is your back. A well-developed, wide back transforms the way you fill out clothes. It reinforces that V-taper and changes your entire silhouette. It's the difference between someone who looks strong and someone with an average build, and it's visible from across the room. Third, triceps. Most people chase bigger arms with bicep curls, but your triceps actually make up about 2/3 of your upper arm. Heavy pressing movements and focused tricep work will do more to fill out your sleeves than bicep curls ever could. And fourth is your forearms. People sleep on this one, but your forearms are on display anytime you're wearing short sleeves. Muscular forearms are one of the most immediately noticeable signs of strength. And the good news is, heavy pulling movements, rows, deadlifts, pull-ups, will already help you develop strong forearms. Adding just a few sets a week of wrist curls or reverse grip bicep curls on top of that is all you need. Every single one of these muscle groups is heavily worked by the compound movements we just talked about. Overhead pressing hits your shoulders, rows and pull-ups build your back, heavy pressing builds your triceps, and heavy pulling develops your forearms. Adding just 1 or 2 additional isolation movements is more than enough to give these areas some extra attention. Now let's talk about rep ranges, because this is where a lot of lifters leave muscle growth on the table. If you're training primarily with very heavy weights for low reps, sets of 3, doubles, heavy singles, you're optimizing for strength, not size. Those low-rep sets primarily drive neural adaptations. Your nervous system gets better at recruiting muscle fibers to produce maximum force, but the actual muscle tissue isn't getting enough stimulus to grow optimally. For hypertrophy, which is what drives how your physique looks, you want to train in the 5 to 15 rep range. This is the sweet spot where your target muscles become the limiting factor, so you can push sets close to true muscular failure. When you go higher than 15 reps, you run into the opposite problem. General fatigue. Your heart rate, your breathing, and discomfort will stop you before your muscles actually reach failure. And if you're not getting close to failure, you're not maximizing the stimulus on the actual muscles. So keep the majority of your working sets in that 5 to 15 range. This way, you optimize your training for growth and you'll actually be able to push your target muscles close to failure on every set. The last piece of the puzzle is nutrition, and this is where most people completely sabotage how they look. The old school approach is to bulk by eating everything in sight, pack on as much size as possible, then do an aggressive cut to strip the fat off. But for most natural lifters, this is a terrible strategy. If you're gaining more than 2 to 3 pounds per month during a bulk, the extra weight is just fat. You'll look worse in the short term, and when you eventually need to cut, the longer and more aggressive that diet has to be, which means you end up losing more muscle in the process. A much better approach is to keep your surpluses and deficits small. When you're building, aim for a 200 to 300 calorie surplus, enough to support muscle growth without piling on unnecessary fat. And when you're cutting, don't slash your calories in half. A moderate deficit, like 500 calories per day, lets you retain significantly more muscle while stripping away the fat. This approach means you look good year-round. Your progress compounds over time instead of getting erased by aggressive dieting cycles. And that's all there is to it. If you build your workouts around compound exercises, prioritize the right muscle groups, consistently take sets close to failure, and avoid aggressive bulking and cutting cycles, you'll be well on your way toward building an aesthetic physique. To make sure you're actually progressing on all your lifts, use bench. Bench lets you build custom workout routines, so you can structure your training however you like. And it lets you log every set of every workout, so you have a detailed history of exactly what you did last time and what you need to beat. Bench also automatically tracks your multi-rep maxes for every exercise. This way, you can track your progression at the higher rep ranges. And when you break a record, Bench will let you know. Bench also automatically calculates your weekly volume for every muscle group and for each exercise, so you can make sure you're hitting all the muscle groups evenly. It's the perfect tool for lifters who want to train smarter and build a balanced physique. Bench is completely free to download and use and is available on both iOS and Android. I'll leave a link in the description so you can download the app. Thanks for watching. If this video helped you, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.